Mo here, Reseller Niche, back with another What Sold video. This is 20 items that sold during last year's Q4. Let's get right into it. These are all thrifted finds. First one is a pair of Kenneth Cole New York brown pants. These are work pants. Had about $2.99 into them. Sold for $27.10. All right, next up, this is more pewter figures. This is a pewter dragon vintage, little tiny figurine, about 1.5 inches tall. Sold for $14.49 out the door. I picked this t-shirt because it's an interesting one to talk about. Vintage USPS promo t-shirt. It sat for a while, probably over 1.5 years. Bought it for $1.99, sold for $43 even out the door. Now this is the first time I've found anything from Artrex, and the first time I've actually sold it, maybe the second time. It's a medium, nothing fancy, green Artrex t-shirt. Bought it within a lot, probably about 50 cents into it, sold for $68.20. That's the power of a brand that sells, and to my knowledge this was a legit Artrex branded t-shirt. Next up, McFarlane figures. I sell these basketball figures from time to time. This package was beaten up. I'm not exactly sure what I've had in this because I had this for a while. McFarlane NBA Karl Malone, when he was on the Los Angeles Lakers, sold for $50.38. I have been selling these Wizard of Oz figures from Franklin Mint for about a year now, maybe 9 months to a year. And this one was the Guardian of the Gate, sold for $45.98. Okay, I sourced this at a thrift store for $4.99. It was a palm sealed M505 handheld desktop palm pilot type thing. Pretty old. I'm guessing around 20 years old, 15 to 20 years old. Sold for $219.60 out the door. If you see any of these vintage Palm Pilots or anything like that, a lot of these are not really used. Even discontinued Blackberries, that kind of stuff, they go for good money, especially if they're sealed or new with all the pieces. I'm not exactly sure what this is still. It says Devil Biss 7305P-D Home Care Suction Unit Portable Aspirator. So whatever the heck that is, that I got for $4.99 and it sold for $42.74. If you want to comment down in the chat below if you know what that is. This was being rolled out at a Goodwill, and it was in the bottom of one of those carts that they had. I just saw the Hercules kind of top of the figurine sticking out. Disney on Ice Hercules and souvenir flashlights. I did not even test this, and when I went I listed it anyway, and I was going to go back and get some batteries and test it, but it sold before then. It sold for $17.84. Christmas lights always do well, obviously the end of the year. This has markings, pen markings on the actual packaging, and it was cardboard packaging, which is annoying. Scooby-Doo Cartoon Network Holiday Novelty String Lights sold for $30.14 out the door. This is something I'm picking more and more up. I love picking up parts of any kind, but I just have no knowledge base on this, so it has to be something I can look up. This is a Ford F-150 Lincoln radio. It's like a 6 CD changer, kind of a heavy piece, weighs at least 5 pounds, 8 pounds, something like that. And it's just there's no cables with it or anything like that. And I believe I had $9.99 into this one. It might be $8.99.70. These sit for a while, but they sell for decent money. These two sold to the same person. I bought some American Doll about, 6 months ago. And one of them has like a soccer theme to it, I believe, soccer clothing. One of them just regular clothing, jeans and a t-shirt. Sold to the same person. I believe I had about $40 into this combined, and it sold for $192.12. American Girl dolls or something I'm still learning about, but if you get them for cheap, they go for really good money, especially if they come with all the clothing, and even better if they come with a box. I love picking up book sets, especially with the last craziness over the last 2 years. A lot of people are buying books just to keep at home when maybe they didn't before with the internet and everything. This is a set of the Lion Story Bible Christian Stories, set of 52 books complete. These I got for $24.99, and they were sitting there with media all the way in the corner of the thrift store. I sold for $232.20 out the door. Vintage Canon 1980, a snowtrooper, and it sold for $48.85. Favorite items to sell ever, Motu, vintage Masters of the Universe, He-Man action figures. This was Screech.
Hell
It's
yeah.
not new, but it was with the box. The box was beaten up. But that box really, I've had people offer me just for the box only. They were trying to get that only. Had about $15 into this, I believe. Sold for $98.57 out the door. Vintage Durham Industries metal doll house cabinets. They were actually relatively heavy. I believe this might have been over a pound or close to it. Sold for $36.03 out the door. I do love picking up PC video games. This is Dungeon Siege 2. Like I said, be careful about those keys. If they're, if it looks like it has a key, be ready for a possible return. Bought this for 99 cents. Sold for $23.50. Okay, I don't sell many records. Especially because when I find them, most of the time they're used, and I'm kind of weary about the grading process. I mean, I understand it, but I don't find them in good condition a lot of times. This is a Madonna sealed album. It was new. I believe this is a retro repop, even though I put 1987 in here. I don't believe this is actually vintage. I think it's a kind of a reproduction that they've been doing the last couple of years. Bought this for $4.99, sold $36.45. I love pennants, as I've said before. This is an Auburn Tigers University NCAA pennant, a regular standard 30-inch pennant. And I had, I believe, $4.99 into this, and it sold for $83.44 out the door. So those are 20 vintage thrifted items that I sold on eBay for good money and coupon. Please check out our other video. Bye.
Whatever.